We're going to talk about the dump trailer again. I think it's important, very important, because there's a huge market for dump trailers. A lot of people, you know, they're a very, very useful tool for doing the work that I do. Tons and tons of other jobs. And there's, you know, first-time buyers, people that may not understand how a dump trailer works, the pluses and the minuses. YouTube is such a huge factor. That dump trailer right there cost like $23,800. Now it's probably, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 higher than that now, I'm sure. I think I have finally got this one. Well, I'm not a think. I know I have finally got this one exactly catered and perfected to my uses that I'm going to be using it for. So of course I had the metal sides on it. They're over there. They're awesome for chipping into. Holds a ton of chips, like 23 yards of chips, and 23 yards of wood chips is a load. I am here to tell you that is a serious load. Some people, I've seen some people in the comments say they're, you know, like 300-400 pounds. So I done a little digging on wood chips, how much wood chips weigh per yard. And a lot of them will weigh upwards of around 800 pounds a yard. So if you put 23 yards in there, you know, you've got a pretty good load. But there was a drawback to having those metal sides and the roof on it. It kept me from doing this right here. I could do this, but I couldn't put the load on it like I had on it yesterday. And that's what I needed to be able to do, because I'm all, as you're a tree guy, seldom going to be chipping 100% of the time. You're going to be dealing with a lot of stuff like this, oversized stuff that you can't chip, that you just need to haul it. And my thing is, I want to handle it in as big a piece as I possibly can, to where I'm not handling as much. And that's the reason why I took the sides and the top off, and I did what I did right here. Now I can take and load that stuff, and I don't have to worry about hitting the roof on or anything. You know, if I'm not chipping, just throw the tarp up. If I'm chipping, pull the tarp back, bam, over, done with. No chips are escaping or anything like that. So the reason I'm making this video is because I watched a Good Works Tractor video last night, and he was the one I was talking about. I couldn't remember who it was. He got a 20-foot model Diamond C, and this is a Diamond C, and the sides on it are taller. This one has 32s on it. You can only get the telescoping front cylinder up to a 16-footer, and then he got the 20-foot, and he got the third axle up under his, and it came with the scissor lift up under it. Is he got the 7-gauge metal on it. This is what you really need to be paying attention to if you're looking for a dump trailer. All right, the 7-gauge on that 20-foot, and I've got 7-gauge. 7-gauge equals 3/16 thick, y'all. 3/16 metal on a whole pan of a dump trailer is a lot of weight, okay? And you got to factor all that stuff in. On these Diamond C's, the way that they do them is pretty cool, because this is a one solid sheet from right there where my finger is, all the way down, all the way to right here. And the same thing on this side. That's one solid broke sheet. But here's the thing, then they overlap a center sheet. So you're actually 3/16 times 2 from here to here, and from there to there, all the way up. All right, again, 3/16, and I fool with a lot of metal. I've done a lot of metal fab work, so I knew that was going to be a lot of weight just in a dump trailer. So this dump trailer has two 10,000-pound torsion axles up under it. 20,000 pound GVW, and it's just like he said, you know, you've got to, that's 20,000 pounds total, so that's including the payload. It don't mean it'll hold, it can carry 20,000 pounds in the bed. That's 20,000 pounds between the metal in the trailer and what's in the bed, okay? So I wanted to find out what this trailer weighed right here, and I have not weighed it. But they told me through Diamond C that this trailer come in about 6,000 something pounds. I'm not sure that's exactly right. It may be 6,000, and I've had this trailer over a year now, so it's gonna kind of be a year review. I feel like it's probably a little bit heavier than 6,000 pounds, because this trailer is pretty heavy, empty. I would hate to hook to the one that Goodworks Tractor had, this 20 foot, and he's got a third axle up under his. So one's on the third axle, they put 3 7,000 pound axles up under them, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what they do. They may be 8,000 pounds, but anyhow, so you got one more, irregardless, you got one more axle, you got one more of these steel rims. Oh my gosh, they're probably 100 between the tire and the rim both, man. They're nearly a ½ inch thick. Those things are heavy, and I would hate to know what his trailer weighs. When you get a dump trailer, you got to keep in mind what you gonna be doing, what are you gonna be loading, how you want to load it. On the scissor lifts, if you load those things all the way up with dirt's very heavy. They're not gonna dump. His scissor lift would not lift that thing. I loaded Justin's the other day and his wouldn't dump, but Justin carries a bottle jack with him everywhere he goes. Justin has a Iron Bull, got a scissor lift on it, and he just got the bottle jack, got it kind of started up. Once you get it started, it'll go on and go, because on the scissor lifts, I said this in a video a couple weeks ago, on the scissor lifts, they don't go up, they push back first and then they go up. So if you got them too heavy, that's the reason why. But they're faster. They're a faster dump. If you're going to be dumping many times a day, the scissor lift is going to be your answer. Just don't load it heavy at the front. Keep this front quarter right here, keep your weight 3/4 back is what you do. You know, don't mount it up on the front up there, because you're going to get bit like that. Or you better carry a bottle jack, or take you a 2x4 and lay you a piece of 2x4 in there on both sides to kind of get it that little bit leverage that it needs to go up. On these here, it's a non-issue. If you're going to be dumping heavy load, if you are going to be loading heavy loads like I do, like that, it does not matter how you load this thing or what, it's going to lift it. It does not matter. And this 16 foot, there's the pivot point right there. So it's lifting 15 foot is what it's lifting. And I've got another video showing where I load this thing to the hilt with some dirt and debris, and it still lifts it. It lifts it fine. I was dumping it. I was actually getting it on the property where I was. I wasn't getting on the road or anything. So I just loaded it to see if it would do it, because I knew if it wouldn't, I had the excavator right there and I could pull some of it back to get it to dump. There is no such thing as the perfect trailer. There's some things that Diamond C could do better. In my situation, me dumping like those big chunks right there, I was having problems when they were coming out. What was happening is that this bar right here, this gate, and I wish they would make it an option, so if you're doing stuff like what I'm doing, they would have a different build on this right here. This is part of your dump. It comes all the way down and across right there. So if you're using the barn doors, that's kind of irrelevant right there. But there's not a lot of support right there if you're dumping stuff like that and it's dragging out over that thing. Because what I had done was, just in a year, I had bowed this square tubing out. It was starting to bow out, and it was getting worse, and it was just from where that stuff was dragging out off of it. And so what I did was, here a couple weeks ago, I took my tractor and caught it right there with a fork and bowed it all the way back in, and I took and tack welded over here and right over there. That way I can grind that weld out if I ever need to and fix that. But I wish they'd have done a little bit different on that, or give you an option if you're going to be hauling stuff like I am. Because rarely am I ever going to have, say, dirt or gravel or something. If I am, I'll just open the barn doors. I'm not worried about tailgating. I don't care. If I got a tailgate or if I need to spread it, I'll just take the mini excavator and spread it. I wish they made these doors to where they were double hinged to where they fold it back flat against the trailer. That way, if you wanted to, you could lock them over here flat against the trailer, and then you could either go down the road like that or whatever with them locked back, or they would be out of the way. Like if you were loading here and you wanted to drive over there, because that's as far back as that door will go. So you got to be very mindful of that so that you don't hit anything. If I have somebody else ever driving my truck and the dump trailer's on there, I make sure I go ahead and swing those doors around and shut them and close them beforehand. And the other thing too is this thing would hold my mini excavator and would haul it. But before I welded tack that right there, I don't think this stuff here was beefed up enough, because that's what your ramps go in right there. This was not enough to hold a 12,000 pound machine day in and day out. I started to load it one day and I went to go up on it and I seen it flexing and I was like, no bueno. I backed off and I was like, nah, that's not gonna work. It would, the trailer would hold it. It would be fine going in it and everything. Axles, you wouldn't be over on your 20,000 on that or anything. It would work. That's just not going to work right there day in and day out. It's not going to hold that, because you take 6,000 pounds on this side, 6,000 pounds on that side, a little better than 6,000 going up that thing. It wasn't going to hold. But so just to kind of recap, do your homework. I got the 32-inch sides. I didn't want any taller sides for loading and things like that, and I didn't in the weight. I kept it down because of weight. And also, say you're loading that stuff over there, say you got a 3,000 pound piece in there and you're setting it in and it's kind of jacked up on something, and then you set another piece in there and those pieces roll and they kind of hit the sides. Well, if you got those thin side trailers, man, it can wreak havoc on them. It'll twist them and torque them. And then as you're dumping too, those things are pretty violent as they're coming out. And so this holds up better, and you don't have those tall sides. Like if it hits on that tall side, it's more apt to destroy something with the taller sides on it than it is with this right here. I really like Diamond C's, the way that you can spec out trailers on their website. And it gives you all the options right there. You just click through the options. And so on this one here, I put the extra cross members on it. I've got the cross members on this one on 12-inch centers, so that added weight to it. But that right there was due to the fact of where I was going to be putting stuff like that in it. I've looked at a lot of dump trailers where they've got their dented in and everything from where people's drop stuff on them and everything. And you can see on this one right here, you don't see any messed up spots in it. They do take this centerpiece right here and they pull it down in the middle because it's too thick. It's two plates thick right there. So they pull it down in the middle to tack it. And that's the reason why it's got that bow in the bottom of it right there. But when I got this trailer here, got it in about 3 weeks after I had it in my shop. And it had the wrong axle, and it had a 10,000 and had an 8,000 pound axle in it. I could tell by the hubs. I got to looking at the hubs, and hubs were different sizes, man. And I was like, man, that's not gonna work. But then there's other little things about it. I think they could have done better on the controller, the hand controller, because I'm fixing to have to pull it apart and kind of go through it. You can see there's chips that fly in here. One of the magnets has already came off the back of the controller here in a year. I think they could have done better on that. I wanted to get the remote control controller, but see, they told me and they told the dealer that I bought it from that you could not do it on this trailer. Now I ain't give up on that yet, so that may have just been a deal for them, because see, this trailer here has hydraulic jacks on it right there, and they're fast, man. They don't play. And so the jacks work off the top two buttons, and then the dump works off the bottom two buttons right there. I'm not gonna lift it all the way up. I'm just gonna lift it a little bit because I don't have those doors chained. I don't want to bend them. I'll lift it enough where you can see up under it. You see the cross members up under it. See them? There's a door swinging back. I'm gonna stop right there. See, it's got cross members on it, all 12-inch centers all the way back. So this right here, for what the trailer cost, I think they could have done a little bit better on, because like I said, I'm fixing to pull this thing apart. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the connections in it there. I did have to replace this latch right here. It just broke apart. I mean, it right off the bat. I mean, as soon as I got it, this thing is riveted in there where it pivots right there, and it just all come apart. The rivet pulled out the face of this thing. It's got well, it's that little rivet up in there, if you can see it. That one right there. It pulled out. And so I sent them a message on, well, I sent them a video on Instagram. You know, they're real big on Instagram, and I told them, I showed them what was going on, and I said, I am not taking this thing to the dealer to get that changed or nothing. I said, you can do whatever you want to do. And so they fixed me up. They actually give me a code, and then they shipped it straight to me. And that kind of aggravated me pretty bad about that axle, when I had to have that axle changed out. So my closest dealer for these trailers is over 150 miles one way from me. I really wish Diamond C would have just shipped that axle straight to me. I would have swapped it and got the other one shipped back to him, no problem. Very capable of doing that. But they shipped it to the dealer. Go back to where all this started at. If you're going to be dumping heavy stuff and you want the maximum power that you can get to lift, no matter what you're doing, you better go with the telescoping front cylinder on the thing. If you're going to be dumping quick, a lot of stuff daily, 5-6 times a day, something like that, you know, hauling stuff, go with the scissor lift. Don't load as heavy. Don't go with the 7 gauge. Go with a little bit lighter gauge where it's not as heavy like that, where you can get the capacity. I will give them, they do a good job on the paint, on the powder coating, man. If you buy a trailer and you want a good trailer, get one that's been powder coated. Anything, any kind of equipment, make sure it's been powder coated, man, and because it'll last a long time. But you know, it's important. These videos are excellent. And the manufacturers, they take note of this stuff, man. YouTube is a excellent deal for somebody out fixing to spend some money. You know, that's a lot of money for a daggum dump trailer. Cause see, this is not gonna be right here. See, 20,000 pound is correct. That's the GVW. Empty weight's 4,500. A trailer does not weigh 4,500 pounds. This trailer weighs, because like I said, I had them check it, and they said it's 60, 66 something. But I think I need to go somewhere and weigh it one day, weigh it, and then unhook from it and weigh again and see what it actually weighs, because I think it may be a little bit more. It may not be. It may be that 66, because man, it pulls like it weighs a lot more than that. But like I said, this is not going to be right there. It weighs more than that 4,500 pounds. And the other thing that makes it too, man, is the tires that are on there. 16 ply tires, 125 psi. So see, it says cargo should never exceed 15,500. That's going to be incorrect too. that's probably a blanket sticker that they got for their base model. Anyhow, I hope this video helps somebody in their purchasing or whatever, whether they do or they don't, whatever they end up doing. But there's quite a few options on this one. The extra D-rings on it, 7 gauge. I got the step on the side over here. I wish they'd put a step over on the other side. That step right there, that's an option. The lights on it are an option. I do use the lights a good bit. They're very handy. Never had to plug this thing up. It's got a solar panel up there on the neck. I got it. It keeps the battery trickle charged. Plus, when you plug it up to the truck, it charges. And I can plug it in right there. It's also got a charger right there. But, boy, do your homework, man, before you pull the trigger on stuff. Don't buy something just because it's sitting on the lot, unless you just, got to. You can end up wasting up a lot of money right quick like. So anyhow, I'm gonna let it dry up today. Probably gonna get on the Ranger here in a little bit and go look at some of the places that I hunt. I did a bunch of work on them this week, the last 2 weeks actually. And that's probably what I'm gonna do. So anyhow, I'll catch y'all later. Later, taters.